Hi, I'm Lauren Ross. I'm the Executive Director of Laumeier Sculpture Park, and this is an exhibition that I co-curated with Laumeier's curator, Dana Turkovich, entitled Salutary Sculpture. This exhibition brings together 8 artists who are exploring themes of healing and recovery and health and wellness through their work. Many of them actually came to their current artistic practices through their own personal journeys of recovering from illness and injury. And all of them, I think, work with an eye towards both individual and collective well-being in a very holistic way.
Hi, my name's Tom Condon. I'm showing a collection of chemograms, a cameraless photographic process using black and white photography paper, black and white chemistry, but making color images. My work is born out of 2 kind of big physical traumas that I went through in my life. Early on, around 8th grade, I had a physical condition called idiopathic pseudotumor cerebris, which resulted in my body making too much cerebral fluid. It built up so much that it ended up pinching off my optical nerves and me slowly losing my eyesight. Ultimately, I ended up getting my eyesight back, but when it did come back, there had been so much pressure on my optical nerves that it resulted in a lot of scarring. So a lot of the forms in my work resemble figures. You might think that, one looks like a bird's head or another one looks like a horse. I try to keep the figures in a place that they are ambiguous enough to where they can kind of shift from one identification to another depending upon who's looking at them.
Hi, I'm James Sterling Pitt. The work that's on view here at Laumeier Sculpture Park is a grouping of 4 drawings and 15 ceramic and wood sculptures. So how the process works is that I archive all my memories and thoughts through drawing, and then as I enter the studio, I pick an object that I want to be 3-dimensional in the world. So this process originated in July of 2007 when I was in a car accident that left me neurologically and physically disabled. So part of dealing with a brain injury has been that I have to trust kind of my dream world as much as I trust my waking world or my observations, because your brain is giving you information very differently than kind of in a linear way. And the installation is very purposeful in that the drawings aren't framed. They're kind of more of a mapping system or a vitrine where you're looking at them like a textile or a map. In this tiered sculpture riser, you're invited to even sit on the floor with the work if you want, to view it from different vantage points, which is important to me as well.
Hi, my name is Hope Ginsburg, and the work I'm showing in Salutary Sculpture is from a series of 15 land dive team projects made starting in 2014. And each piece situates a solo or group of scuba divers meditating in a landscape that can be interpreted environmentally, such as at the edge of a tide that's rising, which evokes sea level rise, or in a desert where perhaps the sea is encroaching. I learned to dive so that I could see sea sponges, which were a muse in my practice for many, many years. And when I learned to dive, it was not long after I had some injuries to my sternum and to my spine. And so moving with the tank on my back on land, floating with the tank on my back in water, kind of torquing my spine, really signaled to me that healing had taken place. And so diving and healing really kind of mapped onto one another. And then during a dive off the coast of Puerto Rico in 2013, where I went to see great barrel sponges, I had a moment where I was really breathing in time with all of the soft corals that were living on the reef. So I inhaled and they all went to the right, and I exhaled and they all swayed back. And so this awareness of breath, which really pointed towards meditation, joined that constellation of diving and healing. It became diving and healing and breathing, or awareness of breath.
I guess I would say if there's one thing that I would like for visitors to take away, it's the idea that self-care and community care are incredibly important things and go hand in hand. And this is, as I mentioned before, really a sort of moment when the need for self-care is so high, but it's also a moment where our communal care for each other is exceptionally high as well. And so perhaps that might be my wish for a takeaway.